Hi, good morning. It is day 30. I can't believe I've made it to the end of November. I started the first day of November. I was 179 pounds and 8.8. I am now 173 pounds, point 2. So I've lost 6 pounds. I did go down to 172.2, but I think to bounce back up again. I have no idea why. I think it was my period. This is something I discussed in previous videos, is that you need a bit more nutrition coming into your period. So fasting wasn't as easy. And I opened up my eating window to about 8 hours in the week coming up and the week of. So that's kind of 2 weeks where my eating window was not as narrow as I wanted it to be, which was around 4 hours. So I was doing a fasting window of 20 and an eating window of 4 hours. But in that one, I was eight hours kind of eating, and you're doing a lot of munching and whatever. So I did lose 6 pounds, which is really good over the month, and I was really happy with that. At the beginning, it was very bad for walking. I did no walking. So I increased that coming into the tail end of the month. It was actually quite difficult to increase it in the time of my period. So that's kind of awkward. I think your body needs all that nutrition and energy. So you're not going to be having it for other stuff. Let's get my haircut. Go back. Go back. Get back in the car. So that was those kind of things are interesting. It's always good to go back and do this stuff on yourself. I feel brilliant. I feel like my skin is great. I feel like I've kind of tightened up everywhere. I feel better in terms of figure wise, even though I haven't lost a massive amount of weight. And internally and brain wise, I feel unreal, sharp. I can't even put my finger on the word, kind of at the top of my game, like really, really, really incredible. So it has been a fantastic month. I haven't done that in a while where I was really strict. Like I said, I had just two little sausage rolls right in the middle of the month when I just gave in to them. And other than that, I ate no carbs, no refined carbs whatsoever. Now, what I will say is I think the weight loss was also hampered by my diet for the month. I kind of ate on the hoof. I got into a bit of a bad habit and I ate a lot of nuts and cheese. And I think that I should have maybe varied my diet a little bit. I was kind of just eating out of the packet, which is fine. And I actually think that in many ways it didn't affect my weight loss, but I think my protein intake was a little high, and I would say I probably gained more kind of protein. And then I was walking as well near the end of the month. So you're always going to gain a little bit of muscle. So that could have affected it. I wasn't too bothered about it. But was interesting. So what I've decided to do, very exciting, breaking news. I have decided to go on an egg only diet for 15 days. So it's coming up to Christmas. I was hoping to do till the 23rd. But I have a Christmas party on it's actually on the 14th. So I'm starting today. So it's 15 days, including today. I'm doing eggs only, but I'm fasting for most of the day. So I'm actually fasting now. I am having coffee with heavy cream. It's my only little luxury. Please allow it. The reason I do cream is because it does not spike my insulin. There is no blood sugar response to fat. So I use cream in my coffee, so there's no blood sugar response. And what happens when there's no blood sugar response? Come on, kids. Come on. Give it to me. Have you been listening to me? There is no insulin. If there's no insulin, there's no fat storage. Listen carefully. It was very hard for me to understand. I was as thick as a plank when I first got this concept. If there's no insulin, there is no fat storage. So the reason I keep my blood sugar level from spiking at all is so that I do not have a release of insulin. When you have a blood sugar spike of any description, even little, you will get some kind of insulin response. And if you have eaten more food than you need, the insulin will store that away, which is brilliant. The human body, I have never appreciated it so much. coming as a person who had a terrible diet, I said this in my previous videos. I grew up on a farm. My mother was a great cook. We ate a lot of really good food, and we grew our own potatoes. We had our own animals. We had lovely meat all the time. My mother had a kind of a kitchen garden. My mother was incredible. She was doing organic before anybody. She's still doing it, and we had a pea patch. We had everything you could possibly imagine. That was amazing. Every time there was a new plant, she would try to grow everything. We had tomatoes, a little greenhouse. She still has all this stuff, and we had just a really good. But I could not wait. Growing up in the countryside, you go to school, you're in with the town girls. They're eating, refined carbs that you don't have access. We didn't have chocolate until Christmas usually. We didn't see a sugary drink until Christmas. And I really thought that was not good because my mother was into good food and all the rest. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I could not wait to be eating sugary shit. And I thought that was a good diet. And of course, when your blood sugar is rising all the time and you're constantly keeping it up with refined carbs, it feels good. It feels good. And mostly, I wasn't gaining any weight because I wasn't eating too much. I was just eating to keep my blood sugar at this certain level. And I did that for years. You could not give me enough sugary shit. I was so happy to be away from that farm and eating sugary shit. And I loved every minute of it. But I felt like shit most of the time. I felt like I was dragging my feet through the clay. And it really took something big in the end, a sudden weight gain from a lot of driving at work, and just feeling like I can't do this anymore. I can't keep going. I'm grinding to a halt, brain wise and physically. I just was like, you have so much of it. So I had the worst diet. I thought it was okay. I was eating porridge in the morning. I was eating, having brown bread at maybe 10 o'clock, but it was constant. I was always hangry. That is one thing I will definitely say, which I don't remember being when I was around at home as when my mother was cooking and she was giving us good food and we only ate at certain times. And she had to keep it like that because I'm from a big family. It had to be a little bit more strict. You couldn't eat on the hoof. Anyway, she'd have the wooden spoon out and she'd be giving you an old whack of it if you got anywhere near the bread bin in between meals. So, but white bread was around. She was making brown bread. That was her thing, She was just that kind of person. Still is. And so it was really, really, really my ambition to eat white carbs as often as possible. So I was having porridge for breakfast, and I was doing all the things that I appeared very healthy. If anybody had seen me, they would have said I was very healthy. But I felt kind of always hungry, always hangry, always. I just never really felt that great. And then like I said, I was doing a job where I was driving a lot, and then all of a sudden I started piling on the pounds. I was drinking lattes and pumpkin spice latte, whatever I get my hands on, and lots of carbs like Danish is my favorite, pain au chocolat, whatever. You don't even think twice about it. Muffins, oh man, I love muffins. So I put on weight kind of rapidly, and I just felt like I was going to grind to a halt. And it took me a good while to believe I found this keto diet. I was like, I have been on diets before, like most people, particularly women. And I've been on a load of diets before, and not loads, like two. And I did lose weight, and it was great, and I felt good. But you can't maintain them. I mean, for fuck's sake, you are not going to be eating turkey rashers every morning forever. It's not going to work because there's like €6 for. It's like our €12 is it for 6 of them. They're like so expensive. And you're not going to be preparing your meals all the time so correctly, and measuring. You're flipping pasta and all the rest. Well, I wasn't anyway. I mean, I'm way too freaking random for that. So I was looking for something that would work long term. I never thought of the health implications. It didn't occur to me It was about getting rid of the fat, the big lump of fat that had started to gather here and there. And it took me a good while to kind of, I was doing a lot of, I did it for the research. I have to be convinced of something. So I eventually did start it. I switched on Lewis Capaldi. I am so in love with Lewis Capaldi. I don't know why I picked him, but for some reason, I put him on my phone. I went out walking. Just really, the walking was kind of incidental in that I was changing my diet so radically, getting carbs out. I mean, I was the carb queen. Sugar, beer, and bread was my middle names, all three. In fact, first, middle, and end name. I don't think I had another name. But I wasn't the size of Lewis Capaldi. But I was always dancing on the edge of being fat, being considered fat. People wouldn't have ever really looked at me and said, she's fat, but I suppose probably dressed in black. Very handy for the black. That's a tip there, a free tip. Because I never feel the same when I'm wearing white tops. I do have the same tops in white, and I always feel a bit fatter when I'm wearing them. So I always go back to the black. Even though the videos with the white tops actually do a little better, just another little tip for your social media. So I started walking, and to be honest, I suppose I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. I was struggled to get to two. I thought it was great doing 2,000 steps. So that happened. That went on for months, and I could not believe that I doggedly stuck to it. I couldn't believe that I usually give up pretty quickly, but I doggedly stuck to it because I had this severe pain. That was really the big driver. I had a severe pain under my left rib, and I have no idea what it was from. I didn't bother investigating it because he said if I go to the doctor, he'll just get out his scalpel, put in a bit of mesh, say, oh, it was a hernia or whatever. And next thing, that fat or whatever the hell was going on in there would come out somewhere. I just had this feeling that that wasn't the answer. Much and all as it would have been the easiest answer. I just kind of felt like I had lost control. So I started off. I actually recorded all my food at the beginning. It's on Instagram, on my Instagram. And I not officially at the time, but it was mainly because I'm not someone who likes going walking with anybody else. I get really irritated. I'm so bad. So I needed a kind of accountability partner, but I didn't want to listen to anybody. I didn't want someone to go, oh, really, you should be walking a bit faster, or really, you're walking too fast, get back, or that I couldn't wear my earbuds, you know? I was like a really antisocial. No, go away. I don't want to, because people did offer to walk with me, and I was like, no, I don't know what time I'm going out, you know. I was kind of, I suppose, you know, dodging the bullet. So I then got going a bit more, and I recorded my food, and the plates were huge. I was eating a lot of food at the beginning, but you do have to do that. You're not really thinking about amounts of food at the beginning. You got to think of your what you need. So I had kind of found out that you should have extra food at the beginning and don't worry about how much you're eating. And also I allowed myself a fail safe. So it was basically like you know, the little steam thing at the top of the pressure cooker. I allowed myself to have one of those. So if it was going really badly, I bought a 4-pack of Boost bars, and there's less than 20 grams of carbohydrates in each of those. So that was my kind of my little escape valve. So if things were going wrong, I would have the Boost bar, which actually surprisingly only happened twice in the first 60 days. Surprisingly. Now another day I did have white bread with butter. I was like, oh my God. And it didn't satisfy me in the way I thought. It didn't land in the way I thought. I thought I would go right back and be completely addicted again, but it just didn't land in the way that I expected, and I'm so glad about that. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but it didn't land the way that I would have before eating the whole loaf. Believe me, I know you think I'm joking. I ain't joking. So that was that, and it progressed and progressed. And then I got into what I call my purple patch, where I was 20,000 steps a day. I was very, very skinny, very slim, very slim, not skinny, slim, sorry. Someone should teach me English. And I was really on fire. Everything was going great. I couldn't be stopped. And then I went off, got a new job, and I went off training for the job, and we were staying in hotels. Sorry. So when we were staying in the hotel, of course, you're going to be sociable. So we were eating carbs and having drinks in the evening and stuff. So that went on for a while. So I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit, but didn't. I stayed keto myself. I eventually got to the point where I was having keto breakfast and asking the waiting staff for cream for my coffee and having a keto breakfast. But my eating window would have been very wide at this stage, maybe 12 hours. That's fine. I wasn't doing weight loss. But of course, with the carbs, there was some weight gain, which is where I'm at now. So my weight went from 156 pounds, which is what I had gotten to, back up to 180. And then that was on the 28th of October this year. And I said to myself, I'm gonna, it wasn't even a desperate feeling that I was going in the wrong direction, but you can get a bit slovenly, and that's fine. That's fine. Absolutely. I don't think there was anything even wrong with 180, but I could feel that I wasn't feeling as well as I could. So I decided I would do fasting November. So then I had to wait the couple of days before I launched. And when the day I weighed myself on the 1st of November at like 6 in the morning, and I was 179.8. So that was my starting point. Psychologically, I probably lost the other pound the day before because it was probably, you get already getting into the mindset. So then I had said I would go down to 154, and over the month, of course, over ambitious, of course, you're not going to lose 25 pounds in a month. So that was fine. So I went in, but was not as organized as I probably should have been in terms of the food that I was buying. And I had kind of gone off eggs for a while, but I'm kind of back now again. I don't know why these things happen. So I was eating a lot of cheese and nuts. But like I said, I think the eating window, I have lost 6 pounds now. That is brilliant. But I think my eating window was probably a little bit wide. I was doing a good bit of fasting, but the difference between this and other diets that I've been on is that I feel incredible on the inside and in my brain. There's not this constant pressure. I'm never hungry. I'm never stressed. I feel incredible all the time. And I handle things like if I have a debate with someone, I don't go away worrying about it afterwards. I have zero worry. And I'm like anybody else. I have plenty of things to be thinking about and worrying about and whatever, but everything is possible. And that is the greatest surprise, and probably why I've stuck it out so long. It's nearly going to be 2 years now. And anybody around me that I've brought on the journey has succeeded beyond any thing. So the insulin resistance is the thing. And this is the term that you'd be like, what is she on about? So I was insulin resistant. So basically I was spiking my insulin for too long over a long period of time. And my body could not respond to insulin properly, some parts of it. Now I'm insulin sensitive. So even if I do eat a carb, my body will handle it very well. And it's a very hard concept to get through. I would say to anyone, read Benjamin Bickman's book, How Not to Get Sick. But you can also read his earlier book. How Not to Get Sick was only released in July this year, but you can look at his earlier book, Why We Get Sick. And also Jason Fung, he's written a book about hyperinsulinemia and cancer, The Connection. So that my whole focus has changed from weight loss to preventing hyperinsulinemia so that I don't get other chronic illnesses like cancer, like dementia. Like dementia is known as type 3 diabetes. So it's too much sugar in the brain. So, and it's funny because people don't really want to listen to that. They'd rather go to the doctor. I mean, I went to my doctor the other day. I'm going to go through my blood results in my next video, which were brilliant. But I mean, the doctor wouldn't even agree with me but the doctors are bound, like I'm trained in ketogenic nutrition. The doctors are bound by the Irish European International System. They have to toe the line. If they see your cholesterol is too high, they have to offer you a statin, whatever. I'm not bound by that. And I am healthier than anybody going into that practice. And also, at the beginning, I was looking at some videos of keto people and they kind of blame the doctors and stuff. I don't think you can do that. Doctors are trained in medicine in dealing with an issue. They're not trained in prevention. And most of them don't give a shit about prevention that I've met. Because I'm one of these people, I go back and I say, oh, that probably happened because of that, because I had that white blood cells are up because I had an infection. They don't give a shit. They really don't. It's not that they don't care. They're busy dealing with firefighting. When somebody comes in and says, I've got an illness, I've got this, they're busy diagnosing. That's their job. Then they know what medication is to come. That's their job. Believe me, if I have a tumor somewhere and I need a surgeon, I'll be delighted with the doctors. So they're in a different space. And I think that is what's missing in our society, which is coming big time in America. In fact, Robert F. Kennedy, who's now the health secretary, or will shortly be the health secretary, is more or less ketogenic diet. So he wants to transform the obesity epidemic in America, which will have a knock-on effect. I have somebody asked me recently, they said nobody's doing keto. Because I have somebody on ketogenic diet who doesn't know anybody else in their circle on the ketogenic diet, not surprisingly. And they said, oh, no one's doing keto. And I'm like, but it's working for you. Yeah, I feel great. And I'm like, I said, our time has come. Our time has come. Robert F. Kennedy is the beginning. There is a lot happening worldwide. The obesity epidemic cannot continue. It cannot all be solved. Of course, Ozempic has a role. It has a role. Mogabi, all these drugs have a role. But I'm glad that I discovered that I can control my own health through diet, and yet still have a fantastic Christmas. Listen, on the 14th, when I go for my Christmas party, there will be drink, there will be carbohydrates, there will be sugary shit, and I will enjoy every moment of it. But until then, it's strict egg fast only. So it's so good to feel this good. I wish everybody could feel this good. I want everybody to feel this good. I'm a woman, obviously. I'm also dealing with men. I have the blood results here, which I'm not going to go through yet, but I'm going to get permission maybe to go through, of a male that I'm helping. And that person has lowered their cardiovascular risk from a moderate level to almost zero from the ketogenic diet. Now they did have lots of wobbly bits, there was lots of bits where, it's hard to, because we are so carb driven. Our society is so carb, the food pyramid alone. I wish everybody could turn it around the other way. Plus, I'll tell you something that really surprised me. Because when I first started this, I thought I was not going to be able to afford it. And I was buying steaks and all this old shite. Sorry, no, there's nothing wrong with steaks. I would love to eat steaks every day, but I don't have the budget for steaks every day. And I quickly realized I can't actually afford this. So now I eat minced beef 18%, and I eat rashers, bacon, and I eat, we call them rashers over here. I could never eat a streaky rasher. Now I only eat streaky rashers. I do them in the air fryer. I even bought air fryers for this. I have boiled eggs. I have fried eggs. I actually prefer boiled eggs. I don't know why. I do like fried eggs. I have people coming to this house who I give a plate of fried eggs to, sunny side up, and they are just going bananas for them. And with some rashers and some arugula, which is rocket salad. Like, I don't put anything on it. I literally just, I usually am seen eating it out of the bag like some kind of cow. So there is so much. There is so much you can eat. My budget is better than it was when I was buying carbs, because you're not buying all that processed, like sugary stuff, like chocolate bars and stuff like that. Which I'll be getting for Christmas. I'm gonna get all that stuff. I'm gonna be sitting in front of Netflix or TV, and I'm gonna be chomping on the sweets. The only thing I probably won't get is a box of USA biscuits. I'm sorry, I'm over them. I'm over them. I prefer heroes and celebrations and all those kind of ones. But anyway, and I'll have crisps, potatoes, Irish potatoes, guys. It's cheese and onions, the best. Next video I'm going to do my blood results that I did the blood test on Monday. It came out yesterday, and I'm going to do that next. So listen, guys, join me for the 15 days egg fast. I'm starting today. I'm going to eat as many eggs as I want in the day. I'm probably going to not be able to eat more than 7 in an eating window of 4 hours. I'm doing it for 15 days to see, can I really get some of the fat off, and we'll see what happens. But I feel incredible. My eyesight is even better. I think my hearing is better. My skin feels amazing. Everything is so good. Like, the only thing I can't get is this chubby. I'm kind of a chubby anyway. I'm kind of thick. I don't think this is it. I think I kind of have a round head. That's genetics. Anyway, listen, I will talk to you soon. I love you all, and lovely love heart there. And I'll see you soon. And watch my next video for the bloods. So excited.